I am super excited to be at the Newport Beach Temple in Southern California, where I'm doing this Instagram Live for our friends at Declare Our Word. So if you have questions for me, please don't hesitate to post them in the comments, because my life is an open book, literally. So if you've seen the stories, you know that I'm known for stealing scripture. Holler! Didn't realize that the Marriott was the largest distributor of the Book of Mormon ever. But I was so anti-member of our church that I actually judged a book by its cover. I used to make fun of members of the church because I was what we called a Googologist. I'd go on Google and I would read everything I would see and I would go, oh my gosh, this is the most racist, sexist, homophobic church I've ever met, and I could not be further from the truth. So I'm going to take about 15 minutes of your time and share my transformative journey, as I am so humbly honored to be able to do this Instagram takeover at the Newport Beach Temple in Southern California for our friends that Declare my word. So thank you for this. This really means a lot. So when I say my life's an open book, and when I say I'm the last person in the world you would have ever thought would have joined this church, I am true. I am the author of a book called Is He Nuts? Why Would a Gay Man Become a Member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? And it's available at Deseret, Amazon, iTunes, Audible, Kindle, you name it. But that's not the purpose for me sharing my story here today. My story is to tell you not to judge a book by its cover. And I also want to remind you of what it's like if you're losing a testimony, or if you feel like you don't belong in a church, or if you feel like a black sheep, somebody who's different. Now, I am a full temple recommend holder with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I keep it in my wallet at all times. It's right here with my driver's license. Whoops, I probably should cover that up, but I am smiling. And it's always to remind me. And people ask me, why do I wear the wedding band on my ring finger? It's actually the CTR band, and it reminds me several things. Choose the right, choose to remember Him as I strive to be and meet our Maker, and current temple recommend holder, which is always in my wallet at all times. So, what caused me to join the church? To be honest, I didn't want to. I was so anti-church. I was so anti-Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints because I judged you by a cover, and I apologize. I humbly say, please accept my apologies for discriminating against you. If you're not a member of our church and would like to find out more, let me know. And we'd be happy to share our testimony with you and how you can study with the missionaries for free. So, about 5 years ago, I was in Lehi, Utah at the Marriott, and I was invited to go to Palmyra, New York. And I'm going, oh my gosh, how am I going to get out of Palmyra? I don't want to go to Palmyra. They're nuts. Trying to find excuses. I was praying to God, blow my engine. I don't want to go to Palmyra. I don't want to be with these crazy people. And all of a sudden, I got a revelation. My younger brother, who passed away from a drug overdose, came to me and said, join this church for my salvation. Join this church for our salvation. Oh, I got goosebumps. I didn't even know what the word salvation meant. And now I'm like a walking poster child for Utah. I'm wearing socks that say 1 Nephi 3:7. On the back they say go and do. So I am going and doing. Less than a year, let me back up. So I stole the Book of Mormon because I didn't want to pay for it. Didn't realize we came away for free. Oh my heavens. Been repenting ever since. My first calling with the church was Word Mission Leader. And I'm going, God, why me? Why? When I should have been saying, what do I need to be learning from this? And there was a lot I needed to learn because I was judgmental of our members and I never served a mission. And God was preparing me for what I do now. I travel the world doing zone conferences for mission presidents. I am actually from Connecticut, but I spend 6 months out of the year in Utah. I'm staying in Southern California because I spoke at the largest singles devotional with Elder Gong, Sister Mick Romney, and my friend Al Caraway, who wrote the foreword for my book, and she's also the best-selling author of More Than the Tattooed Mormon. And if you don't know who she is, please go check her out because she's extremely inspirational. I am somebody who the missionaries were so down that they were praying for a walk-in. They were literally praying to God, saying, please send us a walk-in. Sister Esplin and Sister Tomlinson. I'll never forget it. I later found out when the church asked me to write my book called Is He Nuts? Why Would a Gay Man Become a Member of the Church of Jesus Christ? And I looked at that general authority and I said, you're nuts. I didn't join the church to write a book. Ignored it. Because I didn't want to be this person that travels and doing talks and stuff. But when we pulled their diaries to write this book, because there's always your story, my story, and the truth, I saw that they prayed for a walk-in. And that, for me, knows the power of prayer. Also, my stake president felt prompted to submit my name to have a full temple recommend holder before my year mark. What that requires is first presidential approval. I did not know what that was at the time, but first presidential approval is where he tells my story, sends it to the first presidency. And they prayed on it, fasted, and said, I am worthy to enter the house of the Lord before my year mark. And that, I did not know it at the time, but I would need to know that God knows me by name. He knows all of us by name because the adversary is attacking us. So a lot of people say to me, well, why do you stay? Why do you stay? You don't deserve to be single. You deserve to be in a relationship. Well, let me tell you something. My answer, I'm going to read you 2 verses in the Book of Mormon that's going to answer that. First of all, it's nobody's business but my own as to why I stay. My relationship with being temple recommend holder is between my bishop and my stake president, and they're the ones that hold the keys over me. I actually serve in the stake as a communications director, and before that I was called to the first counselor for the Elders Quorum presidency. I had to look. I didn't even know what the Elders Quorum presidency was. I looked at the Stake Relief Society president that I was staying with and said, what's first counselor and what's the Elders Quorum president? Because I didn't know. I was so green. But we all have to learn. So if anybody says to me why I stay, it's easy. It's found in 2 Nephi chapter 2, verse 2. Nevertheless, my firstborn in the wilderness, thou knowest the greatness of God, and he shall consecrate thy afflictions for thy gain. And we go further in that, and this to me represents real faith. And God will consecrate thy afflictions for thy gain, providing I am temple worthy, providing I am striving to live better. Because nobody's perfect. Before I was baptized, I was a hot mess. I was a hot mess. I was big on Facebook. Don't use Facebook anymore because it represents my past. I started Instagram because everybody on Instagram is following because they want inspiration. So if you want to follow me, my name is, if you just type in Dennis, I should come up. It's embarrassing. But there's over almost 16,000 followers. But I don't want you to follow me just to be another person to follow. I am somebody that posts inspiration. I am somebody that shares the gospel. I have about 9% of my followers are Jewish and are not of our faith. So I'm constantly sharing cookie cutter things. It's what got me into the gospel of Jesus Christ and how this gospel has blessed me and transformed my own life. So that was my first verse found in 2 Nephi chapter 2, verse 2. My next verse that I'm going to read you as to why I stay, and I'm going to briefly tell you about this bookmark that was given to me. In September of 2020, I spoke for the mission president and his elders. I did a video for the St. George mission, and he made me a lifelong disciple of Christ. which is what he gives all of his missionaries to remind them. And he made me an honorary Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Utah St. George Mission. So as he says, I completed 24 months of being in the mission field. And that to me just meant the world. Because I may have lost everything joining this church, but I've gained a family of almost 17 million members all over the world. I will never be homeless in this church, ever. And so my verse that I want to read you now is in Mosiah. It's in chapter 17, verse 15. And I'm going to paraphrase this. But what I'm going to read to you is my notes that I took on this. So read these notes. It says, "It reminds me when I'm suffering that I am not alone and my pain is uncomfortable to others." So this verse reminds me that I am not alone and that my own pain is uncomfortable to others when they want to mock me or make fun of me or say, "You don't belong in that church being single," or "You're a disgrace to every gay person out there in the world," or you're going to cause a suicide rate to go up, or somebody sends me a death threat, which it happens. And it's all people who have left our church. No other gospel in the world experiences that but members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is why my feet are firmly implanted in this gospel, and which is why I know we are in the true church. So what I want you to take away from this, and I'm going to do another one. In the stories, I'm going to ask you, what do you want to know from me? What questions do you have for me? So tonight, I'm going to do another IG Live where I'm going to answer your questions. And I'm going to tell you why I joined the church. And my life is literally an open book. Holler! That's a thing I do. I just holler. Okay. Now, in Mosiah chapter 17, verse 15, "Behold," and I'm going to paraphrase, "even as ye have done unto me, so shall that they shall suffer, do suffer, even the pain of death by fire, and this is because they believe in the salvation of their God." So that verse reminds me that my pain or my being single is uncomfortable to other people. But what they don't realize is that more than 50% of our members are single in the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we are not alone. We all have agency. I have agency to go right. I have agency to go left. And now I want to take you around the temple. If you haven't been to the Newport Beach, and tell me where you are in the comments, because I'm going to try to get to each and every one of them. I'm going to take you around the Newport Temple. I'm going to show you. It's a small temple. I was here in August as I spoke across the street there at the youth devotional that I gave. And then I was just speaking with Elder Gong at the largest youth devotional in Huntington Beach, the Singles Conference. So I'm going to take you around. I'm just going to find a place to plop my bag over here in the shade. And I'm going to introduce you to my friend Colleen. Holler. And this temple grounds are beautiful. This is my friend Colleen, and she's one of my host families, her and her husband that I'm staying with. Oh, my hair looks like I just woke up.
No, it's the wind.
It's the wind. So say hello to everybody. We have our friends are visiting from Lehigh. I stay in Lehigh with my friend Becky and Scott McIntosh.
Hi, Becky.
Oh, she's not on, I don't think.
No.
Hi, Colleen. Yes.
My cousin, Chris Belcher, she used to live in...
watching from Sweden. My friend CAR. This is so cool. My friend Dallin says hi. He's going to join the church.
Oh, welcome.
So, and he's part of the LGBT community too.
Happy Pride Month.
And he's in North Carolina. Happy Pride Month. Washington, D.C. We have some friends from.
Did you go to the temple? I went to the temple open house 3 weeks ago.
I'll be going when I go back to Connecticut tomorrow. I'm flying back. And then I'm going to drive down to D.C. Amen.
Yeah, it's beautiful. If you guys live in the greater DC area, I would recommend going to the Temple Open House while it's still open to the public before they rededicate it.
Yeah, that is definitely, especially if you're not a member, it's a beautiful time to get to see what we're about and have it explained, and to see how beautiful it is. And then, but Colleen has a quick story, and I'm going to share it, Colleen, because I want to show them around the grounds.
Okay.
Colleen had a son serving a mission in Chinese speaking in Texas, and I'm going to make this really short. And what it was her son came home sick early because he had cancer, and she was screaming at God, going, "God, please don't take my son." She may have not been screaming. She was angry, I guess, boisterous.
In my head.
In her head.
In my head, talking to him, but yes, not a nice tone. In my head.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. ICAN says, "Who is my favorite Book of Mormon hero?" It would have to be Captain Moroni, because we are all defenders of Christ, and he stands on top of he is a defender of Christ, and he will defend us. So, okay, so to make this quick, is that she was asking God, don't take my Carter, and God said to her really strongly, "He's not your son, he's on loan, he's mine.
And he said, "You're telling me what to do."
And you're telling me what to do."
Because Carter was unstable, and he had sepsis and a whole bunch of problems, and it didn't look like Carter was going to make it. He was unstable, and they couldn't get him stable. And I thought, oh my gosh, my son was on a mission for our church, and then he came home so sick and with a really aggressive cancer, and we watched him suffer a lot. And I learned to trust Heavenly Father more in those moments, because when we have adversity, a severe adversity or any adversity, we have two choices. We can choose to have more faith and believe in God and His timing, or we can get bitter, right? Rely on our flesh, the flesh of the arm, or ourselves. And anyway.
All right, so I'm going to go. Thank you so much for sharing.
I'm going to move to a sunny spot.
Colleen, okay.
Because I'm cold.
Okay, you're cold? How are you cold?
Well, I feel bad, but can I tell them I was working?
Yeah, you were working. You were working. So I'm going to give
I love you guys.
I'm going to give you this.
Okay.
And my water bottle is over here, and I'm going to go give a tour of the outside of the temple.
Put this in the car?
Hold on to it for now, because hold on.
Okay, I'm going to move to a sunny
All right. So, this is the Newport Beach Temple. It's a really small temple, but it's not about the size. It's about the ordinance that we're able to bring honor to our ancestors on the inside of the temple. And so this is, the entrance is the stake center is directly behind this. And we're going to walk around, and we'll end up in the front. And then you can see Moroni. And this temple has a beautiful pink glow with the marble to represent the beach and the sand and the waterfall here. And I guess my biggest revelation was being able to do my younger brother's ordinance, Darren Scott Schleicher, in the temple. And I could feel him, and I could know that he accepted all the ordinance on the other side of the veil. And I know that there is no other church in the world that allows us this ability to be able to bring honor to our ancestors in the house of the Lord. And that's what sets us apart. Now, we're approaching the back of the temple here. I almost want to turn this camera around so I can just show you what we're looking at, but I'm wondering how the sun will angle, so you're going to have to let me know in the comments. Okay, so right here is the back of the temple, and that is the celestial room, which is the highest kingdom. And there's Moroni. And then as we walk around over here, which is the back of the celestial room, which is right in through here. Isn't that stunning? And look at the artwork. Look at the sculptures, the cement. Wow, this is just breathtaking. I could be quiet, and I'm not used to that when I'm on live. I'm used to being go, 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 like the Energizer Bunny. And these back here are sealing rooms. And for those of you who don't know, We believe that families are sealed forever. So if there's any non-members or friends on here, that's what we do in the temple, is marriage is eternal and you are sealed to your family for eternity. And that's what is performed in the house of the Lord. But as Colleen was saying, the open house in DC is now open to all. And because I serve in the state communications, I've been able to work on some press releases for that, and it's been really exciting. Our friend SLAR says the DC Temple open house is fantastic. Yes, it is. And our friend AUST_30 says, who are you? Okay, so I'm doing an Instagram takeover for our friends at Declare My Word. And I'm a convert to the church, and I shared my story earlier. I will share this as IGTV, so if you've missed this, you can watch this. Usually on my own channel, I will upload it to my YouTube channel, but for you guys and our friends at Declare My Word, I'm going to upload this to Declare My Word's page, so they will have it constantly. And just look at how beautiful that is at the Newport Beach Temple with Moroni up there. Let me see if I can answer some more of your questions and wave. We have somebody from Kenya on. We love our friends in Kenya. You guys are the bomb. Our friend ITZAR says, safe trip home. I'm 5 minutes from the Newport Temple. Beautiful SoCal day. Yes, it is. That is awesome. Thank you for all of your interaction. And so tonight, I'm going to post in the stories later. Ask me your questions, and I will read you all of your questions tonight when I go Instagram Live. Now, Colleen is loaning her house out for someone to have a little birthday party, so I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to do it on Seal Beach or if I'm going to have to do it in her office. Hugs to Carter. Yes, we will definitely, I will let Colleen know. She may even be watching, but she's in real estate in Southern California, so if anybody needs a realtor, she is your one, her and her husband. Let's see, as I wave to everybody, I don't even know what this waving stuff does. But anybody who knows me, I have something called deadicisms. It's like, oh my gosh, if things are going to happen, it's going to happen while I'm on IG Live, and they are bloopers like you would not believe. There are things I cannot make up that happen. But that's what makes life so funny. If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at, right? So we have our friend JESS says, what temple is this? This is the Newport Beach Temple in Southern California. And from my understanding, it encompasses 5 stakes, and they had to raise their own money. This is the only temple in the world that they had to raise their own money because they are close to Los Angeles or San Diego. And our friend JESSAZ says, I just came on here. What temple is that? I think I just answered that for you. If I didn't, let me know. We are at the Newport Beach Temple. Oh, I just saw Newport. Never mind. It's all good. It's all good. You guys are answering for me. I love that interaction. It's awesome. And I will also tag myself in this as a collaborator when I save this as IGTV. And I try to read each and every one of your comments. My DMs are another story. I average about 800 a day. So this is probably the best way to ask me questions about my conversion to the gospel and why I joined. So let me take you around front, and then I'm going to, let me answer our friend Dallin, who's not yet baptized, I believe. I can feel the Spirit even though I'm not physically on the temple grounds. Isn't that amazing? Well, so if you live in North Carolina, I've been to the temple in Raleigh, North Carolina. I was there about a month ago. You can walk around the grounds and still commune with your relatives or your angels on the other side of the veil, and you can ask them questions and they will answer. It's not like, well, we were closed for COVID. I used to come down and walk around the temple grounds in Connecticut. Latter Day says, we are lucky to have the temples. We are. And our prophet, President Russell M. Nelson, has announced over 100 temples since he's been our prophet. And I just know that there is definitely a need to bring honor to our ancestors, and FamilySearch.org is free. And if you don't know about the app Just Serve or Billion Graves, that's a wonderful way to bring honor to your ancestors, or to do service projects with your children or friends and family. It's a great way. And this is the front of the temple of the Newport Beach Temple in Southern California. And again, prepare your questions for me tonight, and I will answer them about how I joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and how it has changed my life, and the blessings that you can receive by joining a church family that I consider. Now I'm going to be reverent, because this is the front door where people walk in, and that's where people would scan their recommend. And then I'm walking back by the waterfall here. And we have a lot of new people joining us. So you're at the end of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as IG Live or IGTV, and it will answer your questions about what we did. And please join us tonight with your questions for myself. And it's only 24 hours. I'm able to hijack my friend's account, and then I got to turn it back over to him, which is fine because he's got a lot of followers and I wouldn't be able to manage that many. I've got to tell you, I'm impressed with him. He does great work. Oh, and there's the Stake Center right there that I spoke at in August to our youth, and the waterfall. And I just love how this waterfall trickles down this way. Isn't that beautiful? And the Stake Center is right there. And then they have all the gardens. And we have a comment from MOK who says, we are blessed to have, have temples so can do work to our ancestors. I'm in South Africa. You're in South Africa. That's awesome. I've always wanted to go. I went to Cape Town for business, but that was 100 years ago, before I was even baptized. That was back when I was an anti-member of our church, which I'm so embarrassed by. But everybody's got a past, and I was a hot mess. My friend Latter Day says, I love Colleen. I'm going to miss seeing her on your feed. Yeah, so every night we do scripture reading together, and we just randomly pick a chapter, and we do it. But you never know. It's not going to be the same if we didn't do it in person. So I'm going to move over here to the shade, close out. Again, there is the Stake Center for the Newport Beach Stake Center. And I pray that you felt the Spirit today as we toured the Newport Temple, and I was able to share part of my conversion with you. So I'm going to turn this camera around, which I hate doing. We have somebody from Hawaii on. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So let me turn this around. Okay. Now you get to look at me, which is not a pretty sight. There we go. Okay. So let me see here. Let me see if I can get a better angle of maybe the temple in the background there. Okay. You should see my selfie stick makeup that I'm doing here. Okay. Let me get to your comments. Hey, thank you, Dallin, for joining. It really means a lot. It really does. And again, I'll be saving this as IGTV on our friends Declare Our Word. Our friend ABBAGE says, love that temple. I worked their open house. Oh, that's so cool. And that is so cool. Well, be sure to share this with your friends or stories. And if you want to follow me, I'm Dennis, DENNIS, Schleicher, SCHLEI. But if you just type in Dennis, I should come up. And you're from Aloha. I have socks with your temple on it. Tonight I'm going to tell the story about how how I almost started an LGBT protest at the dedication of the Connecticut Temple with 1,000 people, and how I demanded a refund at the, the Polynesian Culture Center in Hawaii in 2004. Oh, so embarrassing. Not only did they give me a refund after I spent all day there, because I found out they were owned by members of the church, but they gave me 8 complimentary passes to come back, and I tore them up. That's how angry I was. That goes to show you how much this gospel can change people's lives. But I was a different person back then. I was a Googologist. So thank you for joining us, and I will be sharing. This is IGTV, and I love you guys. Oh, we have a friend. Thanks, fantastic. Thanks so much from England. You have 2 temples in England. My friend Lorena Wheeler, who is shares me pictures all the time. She is my friend Marie Osmond's executive assistant, lives in England. So I hope to get out there someday and go to your temple or do a devotional in your area. Love your story, love you back, and that's amazing. Thank you. Have an awesome day. Make it yours, and we'll see you tonight. And continue to watch the stories, because I'm going to share a lot of stuff in the stories now that you know my story. Holler!